Now you have cryptocurrencies. So you have a whole bunch of other alternatives. Which one is going to survive? I have no idea. How much is they worth? Have no idea. But you think that's crazy. It gets crazier than that because now you have NFTs. And you could argue NFT as a technology may be an incredible technology. This is a company that's an iconic brand, and it pays 2.6% dividend. In the environment where investors are starved for yield, they gravitate towards Coke because they're like, okay, that's 2.6% dividend. I don't have to question it. Company will raise it over time if there's inflation, and it's still better than 10-year treasury that yields less than 2%, right? The problem is with that thinking is that what happens when interest rates rise? When interest rates go from 2% to 5%, and right now we look at this as almost like an impossible thing to happen. Guess what? The interest rates were higher before when we had a lot less debt. And I'm not saying it's a certainty, but I'm saying it's probability that's not zero. And I would say it's a probably very high probability that the interest rates will go up, especially when inflation is doing what it's doing today. And if a treasury yield in 5%, then I promise you this, that Coke is unlikely going to be yielding 2.6%. Not because the dividend is going to decline. The dividend may actually increase over time. It's just the price to earnings multiple will decline. Coke will come back to where it used to trade in the past, maybe, 12 to 15 or 16 times earnings. That means the stock will decline by half. So that's the least craziest of all. Then you go to Tesla, and I wrote the article about Tesla, and I wrote actually this like 30-page analysis of Tesla because I think it's a phenomenal car. I own Tesla, and I think it's a phenomenal car. I absolutely love it. But when it had a valuation of $500 billion, I thought it was insanely priced. Now it's double, so I guess now it trades at double the insanity or double the infinity price. Today's Tesla valuation, basically, if you look at Tesla market cap, which is somewhere between 1 and 1.2 or $3 trillion, I forget where it is now, it's worth more than all other automakers combined. And Tesla is making 1 million cars a year. They're making, 40, 50, 60 million cars a year. I don't know how many, So, and it's still worth, market capitalization is greater than them altogether. So when you look at that, you say, that's kind of crazy. But then if you look at GameStop and AMC, you realize, actually Tesla valuation not as crazy because at least Tesla is a company of the future. GameStop sells video games, packaged video games, and they've been disrupted by digital downloads, which we know next year will be more games downloaded and fewer games bought, and packaged than was, this year. And that's a company that has a $10 billion valuation. At its peak, it had earnings of $400 million. Since then, revenues got halved. So you think this company is, has a crazy valuation, but then you look at AMC, and it's even worse. You're paying $11 billion for a company that has another $10 billion of debt. Its a share count went up 4 or 5x, and its revenues, down 70, 80% from their highs. And this is a company that barely made any money. Like it made money every other year or so. And the Apes, self-proclaimed Apes, are basically pricing it today at $10 billion. So that's even crazier than GameStop. Okay, but it gets crazier than that. So then we get into cryptos and NFTs, right? So let's talk about Bitcoin for a second. So it's impossible to price it. We don't know, I have no idea what it's worth. However, I can tell you that in an environment where there is so much euphoria and a limited amount of optimism, its price is probably high, considering how much optimism there is out there. But also, you have Bitcoin maximalists who say this is our Lord and Savior. That's the cryptocurrency. But then there are, 10,000 other currencies who say, well, Bitcoin is kind of the stone age of crypto because technology is outdated and there's so many other alternatives. So now you have cryptocurrencies. So you have a whole bunch of other alternatives. Which one is going to survive? I have no idea. How much is they worth? Have no idea. Okay. But you think that's crazy. It gets crazier than that because now you have NFTs. And you could argue NFT as a technology may be an incredible technology. But the Ozzy Osbourne from Black Sabbath now is minting crypto bets, and 9,600 of them. My son goes to Sioux Boulder, and he says all of his friends now spending hours and hours instead of being in class on the discourse boards. And here's the rule: if they show their love, how much they loved, those bets, then they get to buy them at the wholesale price, so they can sell them at retail. And when they buy, and long story short, if this, they're buying digital art. I'm not sure how, if it's art or not, but just to flip it to another student, and they'll be bragging how much money they made. If this is not a Ponzi scheme, I'm not sure what is. Okay. However, I can tap that. I forget the girl's name, Stephanie, I think, Mato. She made $200,000 selling her farts in a jar. That is, and I would argue that the insanity is not that she was selling it, somebody was actually buying it, $200,000 worth. And then she had and then I guess her diet was destroyed by, I guess, it was, she didn't have a good diet to keep doing that. So she had a slight medical scare. So now she's back to selling NFTs instead. But my point is, what I just walk you through, kind of different levels of insanity, and I think that's what the market is today. Okay. So that's kind of my very overview of the market.